On this holiday B, we do think it should be 3. And we think to the extent that that conflicts with 35, that 35 should be conformed to
No, absolutely not, rejected, full length rejected. I think we're on a path to the right direction. You guys came up with this, this whole concept, which I think is fantastic. And now, and the last time we were together on 8/11, we all at the discussion agreed that what would be the equivalent of the proposed 6 would apply under B. And now we're going backwards. Now you want to change another contract provision to match up to what's going backwards. It's just absolutely unacceptable. What else we got?
We're not moving into the 21st century.
Okay, on page 50, Article 53 is our proposal on wages. For the coming fiscal year, it's 3%, effective the first pay period following ratification. In year 2, it's a base wage increase as adopted by the Board of County Commissioners. But if that is less than 3%, we would reopen those negotiations in this article at your option. There's kind of a safe haven there for you on the year 2 part. And then we have this provision regarding performance-based pay with a footnote. Anything that we do with respect to a bonus scheme as it's described in the statute, we have to do it on a county-wide basis. It has to be offered to all employees. That's just the language of the statute at the bottom of the page as a reminder of that obligation. So this is the formula for getting that. There's a set amount of money that would be appropriated by the Board of County Commissioners. This is an example of it. Kevin, you want to spend a little bit of time on this? You got another chart that kind of
Sure.
maybe a little bit of backdrop as to how this chart was developed and by who.
Is that $100,000 already budgeted or something?
No, this is just a number for illustration purposes. They had a pit crew look at the performance appraisal process and then look at a way to provide a merit.
Yes, sure.
Here,
Thank you.
I got another
You got
one.
one?
Oh, here you go.
You got one more, David?
I can,
Oh, sure, Jim.
I've got one more, but I needed to talk from. Basically, if you think about the categories, you've got meeting expectations, and then above that, you've got above expectations or significantly above. So if you take those and divide them into shares, above expectations is 1 share, and that's in the language in the contract. And then significantly above equals 2 shares. So in that illustration, which matches this language, the above expectations, if you have 140 employees, that's 140 shares. And then it's significantly above, there's 25 of those employees, they're entitled to 2 shares each. So you double that 25, that's 50. So you get 190 total. And then whatever your pot of money is, you divide it by those number of shares, and that gives you the dollar amount for each share. So then an employee who gets the above expectations gets 1 share, and the significantly above gets 2 shares.
In this example, that $100,000 pot of money, is that just for the Teamsters bargaining unit, or is that the entire county, pool of county employees?
This would be, and this is just for illustration purposes, it would be after the whole budget process, they determine they've got $300,000 left, $400,000 or $80,000. That would apply to everybody through this evaluation system.
So
not
then the
Teamsters.
people that are giving evaluations have an incentive to give less than, because it'd be more money in the pool for them to split.
Yeah.
If it applies to all employees. People that are giving evaluations are also going to be receiving part of this pot, because it applies to all non-bargaining, bargaining. So the people that are giving evaluations will have an incentive to keep the evaluations down low, to keep the pool of money split among less people.
That would, I think, infer though some less than honorable intentions. And the other thing to consider though, would be the number of people who are writing these evals, because you've got so many employees everywhere, the chances of everyone doing it that way, I think, would be less as well. And
But
the other thing.
theoretically, it's correct though.
Yes, and the other thing to think about is, we don't have that form here, but that form has very specific categories with a lot of ratings, so you really have to, the appraiser has to really spend time to accurately evaluate the individual on all those areas of observation.
I was involved in this for a while, then I had to pull out just too many things on my plate, but when I was involved with this bid group, they were talking about the 360 deal where somebody was gonna be monitoring the supervisors and managers to make sure this is done correctly, and is that still gonna be in place, do you know?
I haven't heard about that.
Because without monitoring, and I mean, that was part of the bid crew, was that monitoring aspect of this.
I know that part of the conversation was recently that each assistant county administrator would be expected to look at their branch and make sure that they saw that it did appear to be handled fair and equitably among all. So there is that review, but not a 360 eval in the traditional sense.
Because I do think at the last staff meeting we had about this subject, which was maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago, like a couple of Saturdays ago, our branch manager said that, I gather, the evaluation of the supervisors was rejected.
Oh,
And
really?
there was somebody who said that they were relieved at that. You know, one of the supervisors, of course, but,
If they could-
you know, but that's what was said, that was a proposal at some point, but they did say, and I would have to check back in our meeting minutes, and I don't know if that part was picked up correctly or not. But I know that was discussed, and I think it came out that it had been rejected.
I know in ours, I was in the first one, that they do it by branch, and it was pretty much accepted. The supervisor, the observation on one of the traits for supervisor involved customer service and getting their evaluations done on time for those under them, and that was accepted at that group. It could have been, and it hasn't been publicized yet, so I know they were waiting to meet with everyone and receive full feedback. It has not been officially publicized.
I got a question.
Two problems. I bring a grievance against my supervisor. It's egregious enough where either he gets days off or written up. Am I ever gonna get exceed standards from him? No. Also, there was a mid-level supervisor, I don't know if you guys remember this, in Parks and Rec, that forced his employees on county time to use county vehicles to deliver television sets he was selling privately. I refused to deliver one of those television sets. Do I ever get exceed standards?
Dallas Snyder involved in that too?
Yes, he was.
So, you know, the questions are the fact that the evaluation could be
Tainted.
tainted because
Yes.
of your
And they
relationship with your supervisor.
Yes.
I got a question, Kevin. Can you tell me how a bus driver gets above expectations, but then how does he get significantly against above? And how does the bus shelter washer advance higher? I mean, you either washed it or you didn't.
That's one of the biggest challenges they had at the pit crews. So what they've had to do is figure out a way to use the standard criteria but apply it differently, just like a utility worker versus an equipment operator, a librarian, a bus driver, park attendant too. So they have certain criteria based on maybe customer service response, or how many times you stay on schedule, how many times you're late, how many errors in your work, like clerical people, how many documents they produced. So it's up to each department to determine that criteria, but to fair and equitably establish that criteria and apply it to each person within that job classification. But everyone is different. It was a real struggle because it's hard to make this match every job because we've got so many varied job descriptions throughout the county. So that was a real challenge. But the idea is to have the departments establish consistent criteria within each job classification, and then the assistant county administrators are responsible to oversee their branch and ensure that this is applied fairly.
I think I know the answer, but just to hear it for sure. The pool of money you described as whatever is left over from the VOCC budget. And does that apply to other VOCC entities such as fire and PBA or constitutional offices, or is it just purely our, not even ours, because it goes beyond our bargaining unit, but it also, would it apply to fire and police, I guess?
My understanding is that it would be the money left over, everybody under this evaluation process, and as Jim alluded to in the statutes, in order to implement any policy like this, it has to apply to everyone that is evaluated.
Not the other constitutionals.
No, just within the
Not
board.
clerk's office?
No, oh, no,
Not the
not the
sheriff.
clerk or the sheriff or property appraiser, tax collector. They have their own budget.
So then it is just fire and Teamsters?
And non-bargaining unit personnel as well.
IFF, Teamsters, and non-bargaining.
They were shooting for October 1st on this, are they gonna make it?
Of next year.
Next year.
Well,
Well,
solid.
the pay gets paid out next year, but you're starting the process this year, right?
The observation period would start.
If you look at our proposal, it says in year one, we'll establish the system, and in year two, it will be paid.
That's the part where it's supposed to help us, the year 2 part, right?
Yeah, you would get paid for fiscal year 16's evaluation in the beginning of fiscal year 17.
So if we agree to this, which that doesn't seem likely, but if we did, and fire AFF did not agree to it, then it would just be Teamsters and non-bargaining in the pool? Or?
Did you say if
If
IAFF did not,
rejected it,
you
and
did?
you agreed to reject it, or you just spent the next year snarled up and it passed or whatever, but Teamsters did agree to it, does that mean that it's just Teamsters and non-bargaining in the pool?
That's unclear under the statute whether it will go forward at all. Because the statute, if you look at the language there, it has to be all employees.
Okay, so, I mean, non-bargaining doesn't have a voice, but you have two unions, so that either one or both could reject this, and then I guess the whole thing just doesn't go into effect unless it's,
Right. I mean, this example, there'd be $100,000 left on the table.
Well, I'm sure they'd find a way to spend it.
All right, does anyone have any questions from our side on the concept of it? Well, actually, I do. On the performance-based pay and the page 50, it's above the footnote, so it's your last underlined sentence. Says no employee will receive a base wage increase that would put the employee's base wage above the maximum salary. We're not talking about base wage increases, are we?
No, that's carried over from the concept that there's a range and you can't go over the range. It's not referring
It's not part of the
specifically to
performance.
the performance base. Because the performance base is a cash payment, it's not in the base.
Would that sentence actually belong above the heading performance-based pay, so it kind of fall under?
Sure.
I'm just curious, I mean, so it doesn't have anything to do with performance, okay?
Could be moved up.
Well, is there more?
That's pretty much it.
Are we going to be signing off on the things that we can sign off?
Let's finish the list. 56 was open.
So it's not it. And I'm the one that said it was still open, so, I believe, right, because you didn't have a proposal on it. So I just wanted to, once again, see how this lines up with our seniority proposal at a glance. I don't think it's gonna interfere with anything, even though you rejected our seniority proposal. That doesn't mean for one night or whatever nanosecond that we're interested in pulling that off the table. So I'm gonna continue to leave 56 open to see how it all pans out.
And the duration clause, so.
I wanted to talk about our proposal I passed out earlier. If you look at the very back page, which is our wage proposal. On page 18, it's always handout. What is new here? And I'm just to clarify, because I got a lot of irons in the fire. I did receive, at least A through C last time, right? The dollar across the board, and then 3% in there too. Well, I at least communicated verbally, but anyway, D is new. It reflects some earlier discussion and discussion from earlier sessions. It says employees directed to work in confined spaces for which specialized training is required shall receive a $1 per hour wage rate differential. And, Frank, if you want to just touch on that again.
Yeah, it basically just boils back down to the hazardous duty deal. I mean, we have to use gas meters, you have to go to a class, you learn how to do it. Sometimes you have to use respirators when you go down the hole. Some of these lift stations are 45 feet deep. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that can go down and somebody can get hurt real bad or really killed. Do we do it every day in confined space? No, but sometimes we may do 2 or 3 a week. So besides everything else can go wrong, the gases that are down there and everything else, it is a hazardous situation. Other people receive something for their hazardous duty. That is hazardous duty, 100%. So that's what it boils down to.
Is everybody in your work group certified to do this?
Not everyone has to do it, but if you, more than likely 9 times out of 10, it's usually your plant mechanic helper, plant mechanics, that are usually the guys going down in these holes.
Is it required, on their job description to be certified to do this?
I don't think in the job description it says anything about certified, but the county requires you to go through the classroom, you can get your certificate, and you gotta take the test for whether you're a supervisor, whether you're an entrant, or whether you're doing hot work.
Okay, so then everyone in that job classification is certified, or at least supposed to be certified?
Correct.
Okay, so it's not like we both have the same job, but you got certified and I just never got around to it. So you
No.
gotta go in the hole and I don't, but we both think, okay.
No.
Everyone's supposed to be.
You're gonna have to go, for that particular job, it is required that you do it. If you don't do it, you won't be able to do that job.
So it's hazardous pay. This has been a proposal that's kicked around for, even though it has never been reduced to writing, it's been brought up before by the committee, by people who are no longer in the committee, or actually in management now, one of them in particular. And so, sort of like that as part of our wage proposal as well.
All right, hang on one second. Let's take just a 2-minute break. Let's just step right out here 1 second. I
Sure.
got a question for this side of the table.
Stand up. We'll give you the answer.